Unique.
Hi everyone. Good morning. Hi everyone. Good morning. So welcome to another wonderful NTEEP live training session. So my name is Unique and I'm your moderator for today. So basically we had a little bit of a setback and our speaker for today would not be joining us sadly. But today we're going to be having a Q&A session because of that, and it's going to be a session where Mr. AJ Smart is going to be answering to all your questions about investment. Literally every question you have regarding all of our live training so far. So we have Mr. AJ Smart here to basically help us with all of that. So without wasting any more time, we're going to be going straight into the Q&A session. If you have questions, you could just please send in your questions in the chat box, and we're going to give you answers to your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Unique. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're watching us from. I'm Jessica Kings. Like Unique said, unfortunately, our speaker for today had an accident, and so he will be unable to join us today. But we're looking forward to rescheduling the same session on growth hacking and scaling strategies. But for now, if you have any questions, you can just put it in the chat box and then we'll be answering those questions. And also do well to follow us on all our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Intep. And you can also join us on our website at www.intep.org, where most of our presentation slides will be posted over there. So we'll be looking forward to your questions. Any questions generally regarding business entrepreneurship? I know some people, most of were not unable to answer your questions during some of our live training session. So this is an opportunity for those questions to be answered. I don't know if Unique, are you seeing any questions yet?
There's no question yet in the chat box, but whoever has questions can.
I think
Thank
there
you,
are some
Jessica.
questions.
Okay, Holiness.
Okay, someone asked, can you walk us through the NTEP program stages and do you provide do you provide or facilitate any grants for the applicants?
Again, we are unable to start answering those kind of questions. We have details regarding NTEP on our website. This Q&A session is going to focus on answering questions that relate to your business. I believe that at this point, for most of you, before um, you actually send in an application, you must have gone through what Intep is about and what it offers as such. We also have a Q&A that focuses on that at the end of this program. You're welcome to take advantage of that to ask. But for now, for this session, we'll be focusing on answering questions that relate to how to grow your business.
Okay.
Over to you.
Over
Go ahead.
to you, Unique. Unique, can you see more questions?
Yes, I can now. I think I'm seeing a question from Adebayo Emmanuel. Okay, what is the next stage after this training? Is NTIP going to provide startup funds?
Okay, I think Mr. AJ just highlighted on that just now. That was the same question the other person asked. But I just saw a question from Karanu from yesterday's session. He's asking, what qualities do we need to convincingly craft a fundraising pitch which eliminates doubt about the startup dealing with virgin pioneering ideas? Okay, Mr. AJ just went off, but I think he'll be back shortly. Mr. AJ, did you get that?
Yes. No, no, no. Please, can you repeat the question?
Okay, the question is from yesterday's session, and then the question is, what qualities do we need to convincingly craft a fundraising pitch which eliminates doubt about the startup dealing with virgin pioneering ideas?
What do we need to craft?
What qualities do we need to convincingly craft a fundraising pitch?
The person is asking about the qualities you need.
Yes. Maybe he's maybe looking for
I think
strategies
this
about
relates
fundraising.
to, let me see, something we talked about yesterday. So let me just, I think this relates to this. Is that the question is asking?
Yes, a pitch deck.
Okay. The reason I asked, I want to understand if the question is relating to pitch deck or elevator pitch. If it is a pitch deck,
That's where it's
uh,
okay.
pitch deck, yes.
It's not stated in his question.
All right. Please understand that I will need the uh, person to clarify whether you are asking about pitch deck or um, elevator pitch. Please understand that they are different and you use them differently. You have the pitch deck, which you present when you have approached an investor who has already showed interest in your what you offer, and they would like to learn more about what your acts. They also want to learn more about your business uh, in a few more details and also uh, get to know what you are asking. In the case of a elevator pitch, you might not have enough time to do all of that. So, but usually, the structure of your elevator, a pitch deck is very, very important. And we actually talked about 10 to 12 slides. I also talked about be clear about your acts, right? Be clear about your acts. Um, Also, be clear about your business model. Very, very important. Your business model. Be clear about. I also talked about the concise. Don't give too much story that end up confuse um, the investor what you're talking about. It's also important to keep in mind, avoid using jargons. It's part of clarity. Be concise, be use simple language that everyone can relate to. It's important to use the right grammar, but it's also important to avoid using jargons. Because I said yesterday that you're trying to pass a message. As such, you want to make sure that the receiver is able to decode your message and understand what you're trying to say. I don't know, but basically, if that's the question you are asking, then I hope that answers your question. You can always fall back. There is also a topic coming up on um, storytelling, pitching and storytelling. We're going to learn more about this. Susie will be taking this session, and I know you will learn in details about this. Jessica.
Thank you, Mr. AJ. Unique, are you any question?
Yes, there's a question from I think KS. So what are the most effective growth hacking strategies for MVP stage startups? He also asks another question saying, how can I drive user acquisition with a low or zero marketing budget?
Sorry, can you repeat that question again?
Okay. He asked, what are the most effective growth hacking strategies for MVP stage startup? How can I drive user acquisition with a low or zero marketing budget?
Okay, that sounds like that is the A and second part of the question. So first of all, um, you say that MVP, that is at that time you already have a demo or at least a minimum viable product to show at that point. So I would say, as I always say, audience is king, right? Because before you even start developing your MVP, at that point, you didn't mention what kind of product, but if it's an IT software or I don't know, but the point is that when it comes to key strategies that I would recommend is identify your target audience. Very, very important. Identify their needs. This is very key. Pick your audience, whether it's the geography, segment them, understand their needs. Because I always say it starts with a problem. If you are developing, whether it's a software or whatever kind of business solution you want to provide, the major thing you need to first look at is there people that need it? They are called audience, right? These are your target audience. Do they need it? And if they need it, the next thing is what are their major needs, right? Because this is a problem, which means you figure that um, there is this problem that needs to be solved. And now that you know that needs to be solved, it's one thing to think for people to want something, it's another thing to really need it. And that is why I'm emphasizing on the need. There are very promising, as I mentioned yesterday, startups that started a few years ago and they are out of business as we speak. Does it mean that what did they really get wrong? The point is that it's not like they had a terrible strategy. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them is because there was no genuine need. Just because people want something, which means the interest could change within a few, by the time they compare what they really need versus what they want, then most people are going to opt for what they need, especially when the law of scarcity, resource scarcity plays in. So, uh, first strategies identify a need, which is a problem. Then when you identify that, then segment your audience. This start with identifying your market, your audience, right? Um, then you can now start implementing any of the growth strategies. The next thing is the content. It's important to create value, very, very important, because it's one thing to just identify what people's need is, but you need to actually make sure that you create value to them. If you identify the problem, you understand your audience. At this point, you say you have MVP, which means at this point you have something to show. I would also want to assume that your question is relating to investment. If not, so let's take it on a broader scale. You will have to create value. Value is very, very important because that is what, at the end of the day, would attract the audience you have identified. As I mentioned earlier, there are people who have identified problems but exited the market. One of the reasons is because they were unable to provide values. Now, in terms of because the question you asked, normally uh, we would have, uh, if we had been able to treat the entire topic today, we would talk about from the audience to the content to marketing, where you tap into digital marketing, social media, referral programs, partnerships, A/B testing, email marketing as part of marketing, right? This would all have factored into your growth hacking strategies and all of that. So you really have an MVP at this point. You want to put it now. I believe that you have a market, you have an audience, you have a demo to take to the market or for investors. Now, the next thing is how do you go to the market? So we start talking about the growth hacking strategy. So number one, tap into uh, digital platforms such as having a website, automate the process because coming into the market new and as a startup in Africa, you probably using limited resources. So using tools, especially like what Intep offers, helps you automate the entire process, thereby reducing human resource cost on you, cost of hiring and all of that. So automate accounting, you can automate sales, right? Which I know is part of the things I believe you would want to hear. Try to continue testing. When you implement a marketing strategy, you test. Yeah, mostly you will hear A/B testing. Continue to experiment different strategies. There is no one side fit for all. So you test, go back. There are concepts. You test, go back, test, go back. So I usually recommend if it is social media, email marketing, test both of them and watch which one resonate mostly with your audience. The same thing with the content as well. Don't just send out one type of content and keep using it. Test out different versions. Look, we can go on and on and on as far as that first part of the question is concerned. And that is why I really wish that, but we will reschedule this session and hopefully we'll be able to address your concern properly. Jessica, can you take the second part of the question, or was it unique?
Yes, it was unique.
Please, unique. The
Okay,
second
so the
part of the
second part. Okay, so the second part of the question is how can I drive user acquisition with low or zero marketing budget?
driving user acquisition with zero, I would say low or zero, as you said. So you can always take advantage of social media, um, which enables you to build community around your business at no cost, right? You can take advantage of referral at no cost to you. So first, let's deal with social media. Start with building. LinkedIn is a good place to start with. Take advantage of social media. Depends on your product. If I know your products or service, then I would be able to recommend what social media platforms to build a community around. For example, Twitter is good for customer support. LinkedIn is good for sales. There are certain products that, like for example, if you're selling clothes that are visually appealing, then you want to take advantage of platforms like Instagram. For example, you're selling clothes, stuffs like that, Instagram. But I would say take advantage of social media, build a community around it, and it will definitely help you to acquire leads, customers at no cost. Take advantage of referral programs, which allows you to, whether it's word of mouth or just create a bio link with a referral system where when users refer other users, they get a commission for referring other people to your business. We have a lot of them, but these are the two I can give you at the moment. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. AJ. Holiness, do you have any next question? Your mic is muted.
Sorry about that. A question that says, dear facilitators, my question is to ask if you can give opportunities to entrepreneurs who followed these sections to access on the modules documentation in Word or PDF formats.
Okay,
Okay,
I can take that question.
okay, please.
I think those will be provided on our official website. So that's why it is important to follow our social media handles for updates regarding that, so that when we upload these modules in documentation, you'll be able to know and go to the website and access it. So just keep tabs on us on all our social media handles for that information. The next question is
Okay,
from Treasure.
Jessica, please hold on.
Okay.
It we now have Mr. Charles was able to assign a representative from the organization. I can see Andrea, Andrea is here. So this session may actually move on. I do know that
Okay.
most of the speakers we have, unless if it is really an emergency like this one, they will always make sure to be here because these are organizations that are really passionate about entrepreneurship growth in Africa. So it's sad to hear that Mr. Charles was able to join in, but I believe that whatever emergency comes up, we pray that all is well with him. And but he is able to send in Andrea. So I would just we'll add Andrea, and hopefully she would be able to still take us through the session. Let's be patient, and I hope that the answers I was able to give to your questions add value to your business. Regarding questions regarding to funding and all of that, we have a session that you will ask these questions towards the end of this session. Please stick around and we'll answer all these questions. We value transparency here, so do not worry. We'll answer all your questions during that session. So, um, in the meantime, Andrea, welcome. Good morning.
Hi, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And yeah, apologies for the delay and the events that happened this morning. Unfortunately, Charles had an unforeseen emergency and couldn't make it. And we were just trying to get a backup. So I myself and Neelan, who's just joined, I'll do an intro quick, and then I am going to take you through a bit about our journey as Easy Equities and a startup. So I'm Andrea. I am the data officer at Purple Group. I joined about 5 years ago, so I haven't been there from the start, which is why I also pulled Neelan in, who has, and I'll give you an intro on him now. And for the last 2 years, I've been reporting and working directly with Charles. So hopefully, I can give you some sort of the context and value that he would have, but he is sorry he couldn't make it. And then, Neelan's here. Neelan's our VP of trading. He has been in the business since day one. So, he's got, he'll really give some insight into some of the challenges and opportunities and how they tackled certain things, especially in the early days, and strategies around that. And I'll give an overview of our journey from the beginning to the end, with Neelan kind of jumping in and assisting with any questions you have. And then, I see Nicola's there now. Hi, Nicola. Nicola's our Director of Investments, Group Director of Investments. Cool. So sorry again that we were late, and hopefully, we're all on board now. So I'm going to get straight into it, and let me just see if I can present. Just going to find my presentation. Okay, I'm going to.
Nicola, I can see you are able to join in. Good morning.
Hi, how's it?
Good morning. Good to have you join us.
Yes, yeah, apologies. I was also just double booked. I was in
No
another
worries.
session.
It happens.
But yeah, so we've got a couple of our colleagues on the line. Unfortunately, as I've mentioned, Charles had a personal emergency. Andrea is on the line, and she can certainly talk to some discussion points if you'd like us to still cover. I know you've had a Q&A session for the rest of the session when it started from around 11. Did you want us to go through some elements, or do you want to reschedule?
Yeah, if it is possible to share your screen, I think we can still continue. But if you can continue with the presentation, I believe that the participant they have been looking forward to the session, so I think it would be great. Since you all are here already,
Cool.
we can continue.
Cool. Yeah. So Andrea and Neelan, I'll leave you in their very capable hands. And yeah, like she said, Neelan was involved right from the start of the birth of Easy Equity, so he's got lots of thoughts to share. And I'm sure we'll have another opportunity where you can meet Charles. But Andrea is sort of his right-hand lady as well, and knows our data set and our client base extremely well. She heads up our business intelligence side of the business, and has helped with a lot of the growth and new product and innovation in the group. So yeah, I'll leave you with the two of them, and I'll excuse myself if that's okay.
All right, sure, perfect.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Nicola.
All
You
right.
can see your
Okay,
screen.
so
Thanks, Andrea.
Great.
Andrea, we'll leave you with your colleagues, and the moderator is Unique. So Unique, you can. We are supposed to read Charles' bio, so we didn't know. So maybe after the session, we'll read it and we'll still post it on our official website. So I will also step down and you can take it away.
Great, thank you. Everyone can see my screen, I'm hoping. I think Nicola did say she could see it before she left. So where did Easy Equities come from? Our mission from day one, which still stands today, is that we wanted to democratize investing, so make investing accessible to everyone. Charles will tell a story how he was sitting in a beach in Mozambique and asked his family, why don't you all invest, or your friends and your family, why is not everyone investing? And kind of what it came down to was it's complex, it's, exclusive, it's reserved for the wealthy, people that understand the complex jargon that's used. It's expensive to start, there's lots of barriers to entry, etc. So based on that, he sought to tackle some of those challenges, and really with the idea that everyone should be able to have an investment account, and how do we make it accessible? So what they looked at is those few barriers I mentioned. So if we look at it, the industry was rigged with complexity and jargon. So one of the first things we did is we broke it down and try to simplify what investing is, make it understandable through content and how we phrase things and education, etc. So really breaking down that it is too complex for everyone. With the internet as well, there's so much access to knowledge and information that everyone's now, got. The other thing was the minimums. A lot of investment companies had really high minimums to get started, and then on top of that, you had a monthly minimum fee, so you had to contribute every month, and that excluded a lot of people that either didn't have a constant source of income or that couldn't commit to a certain high value every month and upfront. So one of the first things we did, which we still live by, is we don't have any upfront minimums, and we don't have monthly minimums above a certain value. We do encourage, and we have our loyalty program, which encouraged pitching up every month and depositing. But yeah, we broke down the barrier to entry because of the high minimums that people were faced with. And then one of the things that we also realized, so we wanted to give access to, we had local shares initially, and also to foreign shares. And even if you look at some local shares at the time, to buy a whole share, such as Naspers, it may have cost you a couple $100. And not everyone has that. And if you look at now the US market, that can cost, one share could cost you a couple $1,000. So that was another kind of friction point that the team realized, actually not immediately, but after a bit of trial or error after actually starting, they realized that there is still this barrier, because not everyone can purchase the shares that they want because of the actual value of one share. And so the biggest challenge, I would say, and the most revolutionary, is the team patented fractionalized share rights in South Africa. And what that basically meant is that you could buy a portion of a share. So you invest by value, not number of shares. And so now I could buy half a Naspers or a third of a Naspers, and then over time, next month I can put in some more, and then over time you end up owning a full share. And that's really where we think we hit the nail on the head in terms of being able to democratize investing. Now everyone could invest, whether you owned a full share, a tenth of a share, and built up, but everyone could start somewhere. And that's really what changed the game for us and accelerated our mission further. If we look
And
today,
I would add just at that point, so when Easy Equities was conceptualized and we were sort of surveying the landscape, so to speak, on the local exchange, we had about 160,000 retail customer accounts. Testament to that, today, I mean, we've got 2.2 million accounts, of which just over a million are active. So, breaking down and addressing all those barriers that Andrea mentioned in terms of accessibility, in terms of minimums, in terms of minimum account balances versus minimum fees, in terms of the exclusivity, that's effectively just level the playing field. And somebody can pitch up with 100 Rand and they have exactly the same experience and the same access that somebody with 100 million Rand comes to us with. And that's ultimately was our goal, in terms of democratization. The other point that I suppose is quite pertinent is, Easy Equities is born within a group that has about almost 25 years worth of financial market participation and interest. The initial company, and again, testament to our innovative nature, was a company called GT247, which is an online derivatives trading platform, was the first to introduce spread trading into South Africa back in 2001. And then in 2006 was the first to introduce the concept of CFDs, contracts for difference, which now just about every bank offers and the exchange themselves offer. So, 10 years ago, or just over 10 and a half years ago, when we conceptualized Easy Equities, it came with a whole lot of history and a whole lot of experience that we had learned along the way that you can't buy, over 15 years that you learn talking to customers. And those businesses, whilst it served a couple of thousand customers, the question in the back of our minds was, how do we serve millions of customers? How do we serve, the 55 or 56 million customers at the time that didn't have access to financial freedom or start the rails to, because this is a journey, right? This is not going to happen overnight. And in many instances, real financial freedom is generational. So the aim was never to create multimillionaires immediately. It was always to address the discipline and the behavioral side that generationally leads to financial freedom. But we had to start somewhere. And the biggest takeaway for me was 160 odd thousand retail investors on exchange versus 2.2 million accounts right now that have access to invest. And some of the important things, like Andrea mentioned already, you could rock up with 10 Rand a month. I mean, we had school kids that didn't want to spend their weekly allowance and took 50% of their weekly allowance and put it into their account to buy part of a share. And naturally that builds up, and as you know, the fractions grow to one share, then they own the whole share, and then they're the legal owner of that, beneficial owner of that whole share. But up to that point, they have all the economic benefits of part of the share. And that's quite revolutionized, the way people thought about investing and their access to investing. So I just wanted to make that point, Andrea. I think if you want to maybe still, the slides are still on the intro slide. So
Yes, I'm going to move over.
Okay.
I'm going to skip these parts. But yeah, thank you, Neelan. And to Neelan's point on, our 2.2 million registered clients now, 1 million that are active. And on that, our average client age is 34 now. So that's, I think, testament to the change in demographic that we created, that it wasn't reserved for when people are much older and have built up this wealth. Our average age is 34. Our average account size in value is 40,000 now, and that's grown from 30, which it was for quite a long time. So what that is showing is that, it is catering for everyone. It's catering for the young professionals who are starting to build up their wealth. It's catering for the people who have built up their wealth. It's now really inclusive and caters for everyone. And we believe, the numbers and the data show us that we have opened up investing and made it accessible to a whole new cohort of people in our country that wouldn't have had access before. And the empowerment that comes with that, I think, has also been incredible to see. We've got a big community following, and to see how they engage and are actively researching stocks and are so passionate about their financial empowerment. And it's really been incredible to see, and is our purpose and what gets us up every day. So that's exactly it. So we wanted to give access to all shares, not only ones that people could afford. We introduced US shares, same concept. You can buy a portion of any US share. Over time, we've expanded that to multiple jurisdictions, multiple types of wallets. So we've got our tax-free savings account, which, the data that we're seeing out of there is also incredible. We're seeing parents, as their children are born, setting up tax-free savings accounts and contributing to them. So these, if they are contributing, by the time their kids are 18, they've got this portfolio that's had 18 years of compounding growth, tax-free, and it's just incredible to see. We've expanded into retirement accounts as well. So we're really looking at the whole holistic financial component for a client.
And then on the TFSA introduction, and it's just an important point there is that when there was obviously a realization for the low savings rate in the country, and I think you'll see in upcoming slides that that's a feature that's prevalent through the continent. And in trying to address that, the South African government made available this tax-free savings component. Essentially, when it was introduced, every individual could save up to 30,000 per tax year with a lifetime limit of 500,000. The lifetime limit is still 500,000. The annual limit is now gone up to 36,000, meaning you reach the 500,000 sooner. It'll take a fewer years to do so. For the first sort of 5 years of that introduction, Easy Equities won the best tax-free savings account offering in the country, because we, as opposed to the banks that offered deposit products, we offered investment products. So that the rate and the opportunity to expose yourself to the market for growth larger than pure money market and pure cash growth was only available to us for the first 3 or 4 years. And so that won us a lot of recognition, and we were the choice for tax-free savings investments in the country. The universe within that is also governed and dictated to us from a risk mitigation perspective. So, for example, it's only ETFs. You can't buy single stocks in there. So you have to have the diversified kind of risk components, which we offered through our TFSA, which was, recognized, and we were awarded for that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And if you look at it, so those were our first few wallets. We originally had the ZAR account, the ZAR investment account. So that's your JSE listed investment account. And then shortly after that, a couple of years on, added the tax-free savings and then USD. And that leads into the growth as well. We started where the most people would know and have access to, and then we built on. And it's a key component of that growth strategy, because when you look at your unit economics and your clients, as you overlay a second product, a third product that you can now offer them, that adds value to them, your unit economics per client and that lifetime value of the client increases. So the addition of USD was also huge. You have a higher net worth group as well, investing in USD stocks, and that adds significantly to our growth, and is our second largest contributor to assets is our USD account today. And over time, so really over time we've focused on adding new products to encompass the investor's full financial suite, like I mentioned earlier, having the RA account. So someone's got one consolidated, easy to manage investment account that they can see their full financial position. They can manage it in relation to each other, and that's been also revolutionary. You no longer have multiple different investment accounts at different places, and on top of that, we have full transparency. You log onto your account every day and you can see what's going on. You're not waiting for a statement from your provider that might come once a month. So that transparency was also key to changing the narrative. I'm aware of the time, so I'm gonna maybe skip through to where we are today, and then see if we can get a few questions in. But where we are today is same mission, same purpose. And how do we, get the next million, the next 5 million, the next 10 million in South Africa invested? How do we further democratize investing? Because we haven't reached our goal yet. 1 million or 2 million registered clients is definitely not our goal. And we are doing that through various distribution partners. We have our own distribution channel, which is very strong, and that's been driven by our strong brand. Most of our clients, the biggest portion of our clients, come through word of mouth and through referrals. So our clients are really our biggest advocates, and so trust and reputation with our clients is paramount. So that, and then on top of that, we've set up, we have an incredible partner strategy that we've developed, and we have partnerships with two of the biggest, or one of the biggest banks in terms of number of clients, Capitec in South Africa, and then Discovery Bank as well. And those give access to a whole banking suite of clients as well. We have also got partners with a telecom, and our partnership strategy is very much part of our overall strategy and how to grow the business, to scale it, beyond even South Africa, but to Africa and externally. Is partnership in those distribution channels is extremely useful too. And from both sides, if you partner with the right people, the right companies, your reputation and your branding, if your mission and values are aligned, then it's really powerful. So the rest is just a bit of data. And we've spoken to it, 63% of our clients are coming from client referrals. We have a 58% male, 42% female demographic. And that's, from where we started, it was more closer to 80-20. So that change and shift has been amazing to see, with more women empowering themselves by investing. And yeah, that's just a bit of insight into the transaction volumes we process and how engaged and active our users are. So yeah, very aware of the time, and sorry we're late, so we couldn't get into everything. But maybe I should just ask if there's any questions for us in these last few minutes.
Thank you very much, Andrea. I think because of time, usually we have a culture of 11 sharp. So but I'm thinking maybe we reschedule this session for an entire hour, because I don't think you're able to present this within that short period of time. So what we are going to do is that we engage the team, and then reschedule properly within. We still have a week to go, uh, so we will see how we can factor this in, whether maybe within a weekend, Saturday or so. But we'll discuss that, and then for the participant, our media team would send out both email and also on our social media, also on the NTEP Connect platform. We should be able to update you on a new date for this session, as this was not intended. Mr. Charles was not able to be here, but he was able to get his team to be here. So thank you very much for that presentation. We'll get a date, and then we'll discuss with your team, and we should do this. Is that okay, Andrea?
Yes, perfect. Thanks so much.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we can discuss with Nicola and arrange a full
because
session.
we have 3 minutes, and I know that from experience, they will ask questions, and we don't have the time. And I think it
Sure.
would be nice to have you 40 minutes presentation, and then use 20 minutes or more to take the questions. I think that would be better.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
100%. Yeah. We appreciate your accommodation. Sorry for the unforeseen
Pleasure. Your name is Nilan.
circumstance.
I just want to
Neelan.
ensure that. All right. Nice to
Neelan.
also
Yes.
have you
And
there.
nice to meet you too. And thanks for accommodation and understanding. And yeah, look forward to working through it again with you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so
Okay,
I will
thank
hand
you
you
so
over
much.
to Unique.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you also, Neil, and also Mr. AJ Smart. So there will be no attendance today, but if you haven't signed the attendance yet, you can also go and check our previous training videos and actually just click the link to sign your attendance. And also, you could follow us on our different social media platform. And basically, that'll be all for today. I don't know if Jessica has something to tell us before we go for
No,
end
no,
the training.
no. Thank you, Unique. Thank you, Andrea and Nilan, for the wonderful presentation. It was good to have you guys with us today.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
And,
Thanks
you.
for having
Thank
us.
we look
Yes.
forward to having a full session, by the way. So for now, it's
100%. I think the full story is going to blow your mind, man.
absolutely
Yeah.
looking forward.
Okay.
All right,
Cool.
so have a
Thank you so
great day ahead.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you. Take care.
Everyone, see
Bye.
for the
Bye
participants,
bye.
see you everyone tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, everyone.